Booker with Kingdom Business, where we are empowered, where we heal, get delivered, and get free, where we know who we are. We elevate our minds and our spirits and raise and expand our consciousness to ultimately walk in our true divine purpose, walk in our true divine selves, the truth of who God created us to be. And so in today's video, I want to talk to you all about, are you in God? Are you full of God, or are you full of yourself? Are you in God? Are you in yourself? Are you full of God, or are you full of yourself? So, what do I mean by are you in yourself? Are you full of yourself? You heard the statement or the phrase, you're full of it. You're full of yourself. Well, generally that means a person who is just all about themselves. They can even be full of pride. They can be controlled and controlled by the ego, live through their ego. And so yeah, they're full of themselves. Usually that's the thing where a person don't care about anyone else's well-being. Some will call that kind of a person a narcissist, someone that only cares about themselves and will get what they need at the expense of others, not caring about others and maybe the harm or inconvenience they may cause another. And so, yeah, when you're full of yourself, you're pretty much, some will call it selfish. Again, you generally live through your ego. And so what I've learned is when you live through your ego, it is just about you. It's just about getting your needs met or your perceived needs met. It generally doesn't come from a place of your God self. It comes from a place of your fleshly self, your fleshly desires. I've learned in one on one grid that ego, the initials for ego actually mean edging God out. So if you're edging God out, God is not in it when you're in your ego, which means again you're full of yourself. You're not full of God. Now, the idea is if you are someone who wants to be led by God, you want God to live and dwell in you, you want Jesus to live and dwell in you, then you don't want to be full of yourself. You don't want to live through your ego. So you have to, be conscious of that. It's not so much that the ego is a bad thing, but we have to keep it calm, not allow ourselves to live through it, not allow it to control us. And so a lot of the way we do that is by being full of God. We allow God in. We allow God to dwell in us. We allow Jesus Christ to reign in us. We allow him to take a residence in us. And so what does that look like for the most part? A lot of it plays out and carries out when you are careful about how you respond to unpleasant circumstances, how you respond to any and everything in life, really. But when unpleasant circumstances, such as when someone is rude, someone is not handling you properly, someone is maybe making racist comments towards you, or anything of that nature, the way you respond many a times demonstrate whether or not you are full of yourself or whether you are full of God or Jesus Christ, I'll say, as well. Same thing pretty much. But so if you are full of your ego, you're going to respond from your egoic state, from your egoic place, which means you're going to defend and you're going to want to attack and you're going to want to be right. You're going to want to right what the perceived wrong. Not saying that what someone is doing is okay. However, when you're coming from a place of where God, when you're full of God and you're responding from that place, you respond differently because you take the higher road. And when I say higher road, I mean the God road. How would God want you to respond? What would Jesus want you to do? And so the idea is for us, when that's what we desire and that's what we want, when we want to do things God's way and not live through our ego, but we want God to live in us, dwell in us, and we want to operate from where He desires us to operate from, where He created us to operate from. What we want to pay attention to is, do we resemble God? Do we reflect God? And are we revealing who God is? That is God's desire, for us to reveal Him through our lives, through our behavior, through who we are. He wants us to reveal who He is, resemble Him, and reflect Him. We should be a reflection of God. That is God's desire. So again, are you full of yourself, or are you full of the ego? If you're full of the ego, you're not full of God. And again, coming full of God by feeding yourself the God things, whether it be the Bible, other spiritual information, a combination of the two and other things, whatever it is for you, you have to feed your spirit. You have to feed your soul things that are God inspired, things that feed your soul godly things. And that way you are actually edging out the ego instead of edging out God. And so you have to actually let your ego die. The scriptures will call it dying daily, dying to the flesh, which means don't let it have the upper hand. Don't respond from the flesh. Don't respond from ego. Allow God to dwell in you, and you will respond from a God space, because you will be full of God, opposed to being full of yourself. So I hope that makes sense. I just wanted to jump in and share my thoughts and my feelings concerning that. And I'm going to leave you all with that. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on that red subscribe button and subscribe to my channel, please. Thank you. I appreciate it. Also, click on that bell right next to that red subscribe button, so that you can get a notification every time I upload a new video. You can also connect with me on Facebook and Instagram at Latricia Booker, and on Twitter at Kingdom Business 9. That is Kingdom Business with one S and the number 9. And so you all, that's all I have. That's my time. So you know what that means for me. I am out. Peace. My camera tripping.